Everybody, hope you're doing okay. Welcome to Bourton, not for the 10k, for the mile tonight. Straight out mile. I don't think I've ever done a straight out mile, so we're going to start down that way about half a mile, run back into the middle of Bourton. So yeah, simple as it gets really. And for this one, I've decided to go with the Streakfly 2's sockless. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perhaps not as dramatic as the Thunderbirds videos, which I've been recently watching on ITV Retro. So this race was on the Friday night, and sadly the night before Daisy died on the Saturday morning, she had been looking very poorly for a couple of days, and we realised sadly her time was up. So yeah, sad time, but yeah, it's great memories over 18 years. A lot of the time when I've been doing my videos and work, she's been alongside me. Sometimes she even sort of like makes a cameo appearance. So an interesting one, this mile race. I mean, 800, 1500 miles was always my wheelhouse, and until I was sort of late 30s, that's basically all I specialised in, just doing the occasional other race. So this felt like it should be familiar, but like anything, if you haven't done it for a while, and this is my first middle distance type race for a year, and it's a bit of a shock. But I have been doing some fast work recently. I did those 4x400s, and nice to get a bit of speed. So I think, and if anything, I was thinking that I was setting off at the pace I could sustain for a 400 metre effort, which I think in that session was more like 800 metre pace. And at this point I was starting already coming up to the 400 metre point, thinking, oh, this is actually going to be hard work, and I'm not sure going to actually last this out. And if you look at the split here, I didn't actually look at my watch during the race. I worked out from the timings on the screen from the Insta, it's a 75-second 400, and you can see the quarter mile point there, which is pretty much the same. But even on Training Peaks, it gave me a 73 split, just sort of taking the initial acceleration off the lines, which is my fastest 400 for a whole year. But at this point, it was one of those races which everybody seemed to be going past me, and I ended up finishing 45th, which actually was quite a good, pleasing result. And I imagine for a while I was actually in the top 20. I did try something different with this warm up for this race, because on the 4x400 session I'd done a 4-minute threshold as suggested by Matt before I actually started the reps, just to get myself going, plus a few sort of strides and general sort of stretches as well. So I thought I'd try a similar thing, because I've noticed recently when I'm doing hard sessions I've actually felt better at the end of them, although in this particular race I felt better at the start. But I thought I needed to get really up and running for this race and be ready to go. So I did similar. I did a 10-minute or so warm up, and then straight into a 1k threshold, and then did some strides on the way to the race, because obviously you had to sort of run back out of Bourton to come back into it. And it was a lovely summer's evening. It's pretty much as flat as you could be on this bit. I think when I looked at the watch, it was actually slightly uphill this way, and you can see that 800 at 2:33. And if you asked me before the race what 800 metre time I could do right now, I'd be surprised if I could do much better than 2:30. So the fact that I did basically an 800 on the road and then carried on actually kind of surprised me in a way. So yeah, I mean, for a lot of the race I was basically on a 5-minute pace, which I haven't done for a best part of 10 years. So it does kind of show that if I can sort of get a bit more used to it, get a bit more lactate tolerance, and maybe just sort of set off a bit more within myself, then yeah, maybe I can do a lot better than I did. But yeah, at this point I really was starting to suffer. And yeah, how many times have you done a race where literally everybody seems to be coming past you and you're not overtaking anybody? But I think at least in these races you need to commit, and it's not the sort of race that you need to sort of think you've got another one next week and you need to back off at halfway. You need to give this full throttle, and whatever it is what it is. My last mile race on the road was a 5:37, so spoiler alert, I actually managed to beat that. So in that sense I think I came away from this race feeling very pleased. And at this point on the left is the car park, so I knew basically we didn't have far to go now. But you know, when you're actually tired and really struggling to put one foot on the other with the lactate, then this sort of time feels like an age. I mean, it actually felt longer doing this run here than it does sort of strolling back from the car to pick up my number. There's the 3/4 mile point, so in metric at 1200 at 3:58. So you can see my 400 metre splits were slowing quite dramatically, and I think I'm almost now down to nearer a sort of 5k pace, even 10k pace. And I think the very last
split was barely under a 6-minute mile. So yeah, but as I said, at least I feel like I'd really given this all. And some of these runners are coming past at the end, absolutely make out that I'm standing still. But when you consider my first 400 was 75, and I think my last 400 will be 90, it's perhaps not surprising that these people are coming through having paced it somewhat better. But yeah, I think I had an interesting stat. That was first M55, but they didn't actually award an M50 prize, and nobody older than me beat me, which is always nice. Although at this point you're starting to think how many of these people are potentially M50s or M55s. It's quite hard to tell now, because now that I'm getting on a bit, everyone else seems to be like old, and yet when you realise, I was chatting to a guy afterwards who was only 45 but beat me, and I meant to say he looks as old as me, but yeah, some people do. Although I haven't said, I did speak to Kevin Pye also, and he is a bit older than me for sure. So this is the final straight, and we're coming in, which seemed like it'd take forever, but it was a great sort of location, and yeah, pity there's not more races like this where they just sort of take over a local village for a while, or a town as the case may be. So there's my final time, 5:31.4, which is my fastest mile time for some while I think, and my 400 splits there, not particularly impressive, but as I said, gave it all. So how were the Streakfly 2? Well, ideal, 169 grams, and I was able to wear no socks, no problems at all. Felt more cushion than I thought actually, but certainly a shoe that I wouldn't want to take for too long, but for a mile, absolutely ideal.
Kevin Pye again. That's a short race we've got to turn up for, isn't it? Where's Phil?
They're stalking you again, Tim.
I know. I think I did about 5:30ish. So
That's pretty good. I was
dead on my feet up to 400 though. So
resale 5:59 on the watch. First started doing this race in 2010.
what's your best time on it?
5:12.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I've had that for a couple of years.
It's not bad conditions, to be fair, because it was more following wind, wasn't it? When I was
Yeah.
warming up, going back to the start, it felt like there was a bit of a breeze into my face. But
Yeah.
nice night for it. Fancy a marathon in these conditions, but a mile we'll take. Yeah.
How did you find the streaks?
Yeah, good actually. Yeah, I took my socks off. What have you got?
Got the Vaporfly ones.
Yeah.
These about second out in these.
Oh, okay. They're the
Yeah.
blue ribbon ones, aren't
Yeah,
they? Yeah,
yeah.
they're nice.
Yeah.
Well, I thought if I don't wear Streakflies for a mile race, I'm not going to wear them. It's the world record shoe, isn't it?
Actually,
Admittedly, taking me about 2 minutes longer, but good to see it. See you at a track meeting in the summer, hopefully.
Yeah.
Cheers. Streakfly 2 is. We've always got the same size. You're a 12, UK 12, and I'm a 13.
Wow.
And you've got little socks and big socks.
Yeah, I don't understand that really.
What was your time?
5:06 according to Garmin, 4:59 according to
How old are you?
45.
Okay, yeah, I'm 58, so no excuse. Yeah. When I was 45, I probably could have done that. So, yeah.
Oh, no, fantastic. I hope you're running that fast while you're in.
Yeah. Oh, well done.
Thanks.
In a time of 4 minutes 22, which I think is about 1 second off of the course record. So close, no cigar, is Harry Wells from Victoria Park Harriers and Tower Hamlets. Close. In 4:58, Abby Milnes.
Okay, so the verdict's on the race, having thought about it for a while. I'm quite pleased with that, actually. I think it was around about 5:30, maybe a second or two over. I have to wait for the official times. Didn't get anywhere in the prizes with those doing in 10-year age band, so I don't think I would really deserve a prize running that sort of time. But anyway, good to catch up with Kevin Pye. It was really treading water, it felt like, from about 600 metres into the race. So I really did died on my feet in the last 400, but yeah, kept it together well. And I was quite pleasantly surprised by my time, actually. Looked in the watch, it's sort of 4 metres uphill, but I think I had a very, very slight following wind, so it kind of evened itself out. The winner did an amazing 4:22, which, I did 4:16 back in the day, so yeah, humble brag. So anyway, hope you found it interesting. Like and subscribe on that, and see you next one then. Bye!